Hey, how's it going? Roby here. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, make sure you check out the caption section below for some details on our ongoing giveaway. Today on wrist, I have the Longines Spirit Zulu time. And because of that, I have to have a huge shout out for Sam down at Gem Bijou in Toronto. A few months ago, I was in New York City at a Longines novelty event. And in a meeting with Yannick Yenny, Vice President of Sales International, he shook my hand, winked, looked at my wrist, and said, "Nice watch," even if it isn't a Longines. So I knew I couldn't head to Imier without the real deal. As luck would have it, I actually ran across Yannick there. This time after shaking my hand, he simply said, "Nice watch." So please do check them out. Link is in the caption section below. And now, why don't we just talk about Longines?
Are you ready?
Regal Sons was founded in 1832 by Auguste Agassiz in the town of Saint-Imier, Switzerland. Little did he know then that his small comptoir, better known today as Longines, would one day be one of the top 5 largest watchmakers in the world, nor was he aware that its brand logo, registered in 1880, would be the longest enduring, unchanged trademark in watchmaking. But as with every ember, someone must gently breathe it into flame. Agassiz chose Ernest Francillon, his energetic nephew, for this task. It was Francillon who established the new factory next to the Es Longines, or the Long Meadows, in 1866, from which the company drew its eventual moniker. Francillon also brought on Jacques David in 1867. In his role as technical director, David would revolutionize the Swiss watch industry and Longines after an 1876 expedition to the World's Fair in Philadelphia. This resulted in the system built in Saint-Imier, which has been producing watches uninterrupted ever since. On the morning of my arrival, bleary-eyed from days spent at Time to Watches and Watches and Wonders in Geneva, I felt a certain rush of nostalgia as the car wound its way down from the Jura Mountains to the venerable facilities. Only a few hundred yards away, at the train station, upon a ridge in the village, there is a pathway that leads down to the factory, a walk that is made each day by hundreds of employees, and for more than 150 years. After a brief meeting with the marketing team and a presentation of the novelties I had already seen in New York, we embarked upon a tour of the Heritage Watch Shop. It is worth mentioning that unlike other factories, Longines is a quiet place that you might almost mistake to be abandoned, and yet within, the hallways are a hive of activity. The silence is a consequence, therefore, not of a lack of industry, but because much of the production is still done by hand today. While you can visit the T2 production facilities dressed in a lab coat and slippers, unfortunately, you cannot take any pictures. However, this is not the case with the Heritage Workshop. As a result of having been in production at one location for more than a century and a half, Longines has an enormous storehouse of parts dating back to the mid-19th century. They are catalogued and kept in drawers. The brand also actively seeks out and purchases caches of parts from dealers and facilities around the world. One drawer that was shown to me had pieces from an Argentinian company dating back decades. Should the brand ever exhaust its supply, watchmakers are capable of manufacturing new ones from a specifications ledger, which of course has now also been digitized. The Heritage Workshop is one part of the customer service department, where, as you might imagine from the name, Longines services and repairs its oldest watches. The workshop itself employs 11 watchmakers, 3 of whom are women, and 2 jewelers. They receive upward of 3,000 inquiries every year and eventually service more than half of those. The average restoration takes between 6 and 40 hours. The oldest watch ever serviced by the workshop was a pocket watch from 1867 with the serial number 185. To put that in perspective, the oldest watch in the brand's museum has a serial number of 535. While I was there, the workshop was handling a caliber 990, estimated to take 9 hours at a cost of 1,000 Swiss francs. After a wonderful lunch of penne jurassienne at Brasserie de la Place with 2 members of the communications department, I was given a private tour of the museum with Daniel Hug. Hug is head of brand heritage and probably the preeminent authority on all things Longines. To say that I was humbled by his presence is an understatement. To begin, In anticipation of my arrival, he pulled from the archives a plethora of news articles and relics establishing the Longines Canada connection, which shockingly dates back to 1867, the year Canada became a nation, and the facilities in Saint-Imier were inaugurated. In fact, I was dumbfounded by the fact that a Longines dealer was operating in Brockville, Ontario, a stone's throw from my current home. Hug also pulled out some seminal pieces like the Legend and Heritage Divers, not to mention the Central Power Reserve, which was only recently re-released earlier this year. The Longines Museum is situated in an upper floor of Longines factory and features more than 500 timepieces, and more than that again in storage. There are also a myriad of photographs and a wealth of models and period paraphernalia showcasing the brand's ties to pioneering aviators like Amy Johnson, Clyde Pangborn, and Hugh Herndon Jr., and of course, Charles Lindbergh. Every year, the brand receives 12,000 inquiries from Longines owners who want to know more about their watches. The extensive Longines archives are the key to those answers. Records kept here date back to 1867, and as of last year, the physical volumes have been entirely digitized. But much of the museum is also devoted to Longines' participation in sports and sports timing, which dates back more than a century to the development of the company's caliber 1973. The movement, which surfaced in 1890, signaled the brand's entry into the world of precision competition timing, particularly in the field of equestrian events. Today, Longines continues its legacy as a sports timer in tennis, gymnastics, and horse racing, among others. Notable events with which Longines has partnered include the Triple Crown and the French Open, but the company also has a lesser-known history with rally cars and Formula One.
In the end, my visit to Longines was a highlight of my recent trip to Geneva, and I dare say if you ever find yourself in that neck of the woods, that you wouldn't be disappointed with the same. If you are a history buff, or a watch lover, or both, then the Longines Museum and Heritage Workshop were designed with you in mind. Until next time, let me know what you think in the comments section below. And thanks for watching.